we're starting in 5, 4, 3. Well, it is the biggest party of the summer, but it's also a party for us because it's another milestone episode. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 60 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Taboada. We made it to 60 episodes. Boy, how time flies. And of course, as I said the other day in a video that I released, that we are now back into the groove of things after stuff happened to me, but we're here now. And yes, we have made it to SummerSlam weekend, with SummerSlam being tomorrow instead of Sunday, because apparently Allegiant Stadium wouldn't give WWE the stadium on Sunday. Makes sense, but here we are. So we are predicting today, and the Under the Middle Rope Championship is on the line. Of course, I'm champion. We all know that. But instead of a big crowd today, we don't have too many. We only have Pete and RJ jumping ship with us. And see, RJ, I told you, one take. I got it. I got the hang of it.
I never doubted you for a second, though.
Oh,
We
thank
just
you.
then feel the need to gloat about it afterwards.
I think I've been enjoying to gloat. How's it going, gentlemen?
Pretty good.
Oh, it's going great. It is a little odd that SummerSlam is on a Saturday this year, eh?
Yeah,
It's different.
I mean, for Pete,
Don't
it
like
must be. I mean, yeah, you may not like it, but for Pete, it must be amazing. You know, given that tomorrow, the day after, is still a weekend and not a work day.
I'm going to cricket and getting pissed on the Saturday, so I'm not watching it live anyway.
Oh, you're not gonna watch it live anymore. Okay, it did not matter. Yeah, it's that's what I found out the other day, that apparently Allegiant Stadium couldn't give WWE the Sunday, which makes no sense. I don't know if it's for preseason, but I don't think it'll take 24 hours to get the stadium back down to preseason, NFL preseason ready. So beats me. But anyways, at the time of this recording, 8 matches scheduled for SummerSlam. The build has been a build, I think. It's been an interesting month, to say the least, since Money in the Bank, and now we have all these matches settled. So with that being said, let's get to the predictions. Of course, a point every time you get it right. Winner gets the Under the Middle Rope Championship, which is currently me. And of course, defends it next at Survivor Series, which has just been announced today, actually, at the time of this recording. They're going to Brooklyn. They're going back to the Barclays Center. So that's exciting for Brooklyn to get another pay-per-view. Congratulations to them. In saying that, let's get right to it. We're starting off with the Raw Women's Championship, a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. Champion, which is still weird to say, Nikki Ash, or ASH, almost a superhero, taking on Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. Nikki becoming champion after winning the Women's Money in the Bank the night after. Cashed in on Charlotte. The reign doesn't go past a day again for the women. Annoying, but here we are. Rhea feeling she should still be in the picture. Charlotte Flair, obviously. Charlotte Flair, she lost the title. That makes sense. RJ, I'm going to start with you on this one because I don't know where I'm going with this.
Whether we like it or not, I think that Nikki Ash's reign is going to continue here. I don't think that they're going to put the title right back on Charlotte. I mean, they could because it's WWE and they want to give Charlotte as close to... What's she at right now? 10?
10? 11?
12?
12? Well, I saw that they stopped counting her NXT reign, so I think it went from like 10 to 11
but they
to 12
counted
and then like
Divas
back
one.
down to 10.
But they also counted the Divas one, so...
Yeah, so whatever she's at. I just have a feeling that Nikki Ash is continuing here. They can maybe try and... I think that's why they're doing the triple threat match, because they need to try and keep the belt on her without her maybe... even though she already kind of pinned Charlotte cleanly on Raw, I don't think that they're going to have Charlotte or Rhea taking a single pinfall loss here, so they are going to try and have Nikki Ash move on to something else, maybe Alexa after this, and then have Rhea and Charlotte kind of continue their thing. I have a feeling that that's what they're going to push towards. I don't know if that's what I want. I don't know if that's what I like, and I don't know if anybody's going to like it, but I have a feeling that Nikki is keeping the belt and then maybe losing it to Alexa in more of like a for the kids, like superhero versus fiendy Alexa villain kind of way. I think that that's what they want to do, and then they're going to move on after that. So I think Nikki's winning.
It is a traditional superhero storyline, you know.
I don't think they're giving up on her yet. As much as I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, all you have to do is go to a video of somebody at a house show, and the boos for Nikki are nuts. I was sent one recently. I forgot which city it was in. Nikki just getting the boos and Nikki just standing in the ring going, really? Like holding the belt. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Pete?
Yeah, I don't think the boos have been quite as bad on like Raw as they have been
Yeah,
in a
I
couple
don't
of the
think it's
house
that
shows
bad.
and that. I don't think it is too bad. But like you could build a very, very compelling story between Nikki and Alexa. You could. I don't ever trust them to do that, but it is theoretically possible. I'm going with Charlotte. I I honestly think it might be damage limitations at this point. I think Nikki winning the title was a mistake and was purely a pop the first live audience moment back on Raw. I think they booked her horrifically, and I think that's maybe generous because all they're doing is saying, "Oh, you should not have your champion come out the belt and say she's lucky to pick up a win."
Nope.
Yeah,
That's not how you build up
Nope.
any champion ever. They, if they're tactically better, that's fine. If they're like technically or don't have the strength, that's fine. Not lucky. Do not have your top champion of any division be lucky, except maybe the 24/7. But
Fair.
that's
Fair.
about it. I genuinely hate what they've done with Nikki Ash since she won the title, and I love Nikki. I think she's fantastic, and this is nothing against any of the performers in this match. I think all three are fantastic. But the Raw women's division has been treated like an absolute joke since Becky left. And I think that's about the only thing that could save it because it might make the writers actually realize, oh, wait, this is meant to be one of our big stars. We should probably care again and start writing it a bit better. And until that happens, I think they're going to be a dead end. And I think it might be damage limitations and think, oh, well, we put it back onto Charlotte. At least it might feel important again.
Well, the amount of times that we've heard Becky in the last month to show up has been insane. And of course, when she doesn't show up at Money in the Bank, you're wondering what the heck happened. And then she doesn't show up on the night after on Monday Night Raw, and you're also wondering what's going on. Reports are saying that she may come back or she's getting ready. I don't know, but at this rate, with how the storyline is going, I don't know where Becky fits in. Weirdly enough, because of how weirdly this is booked. But I'm going to weirdly say Nikki too. I'm gonna say Nikki. It's a weird pick, but I don't know. Like I've seen gimmicks. I've seen a bunch of gimmicks from a bunch of situations where the superstar should lose their title, and WWE says, you know what? No, let's keep it going. It's working. We're getting the attention that we want, good or bad. And I feel like with the amount of attention that Nikki's been getting on social media with this reign, I don't know why, but I see WWE going, haha, it's working. They're talking. So I'm gonna stick with Nikki too. Do I see it with Alexa? Maybe, but I mean, I guess this is the one that I'm hoping that I'm wrong, because I said as soon as Nikki became champion, I was saying don't do it. Sorry, not as soon as Nikki became Money in the Bank, I'm like, guys, I don't think this is gonna work. And of course, I got made fun of a little bit. Like, no, give it a chance. Let Nikki have her moment. I'm like, okay, cool, Nikki can have her moment. But that doesn't mean you don't think about what's going to come after. As soon as somebody wins something that big, of course anybody's going to think scenarios. And as soon as Nikki grabbed that briefcase, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And here we are now, and I'm like, I was somewhat right. That's not good.
I was willing to give a minimal benefit of the doubt to them on that, but I think I said it straight to you, Jose. As long as it's not an immediate cash in, as long as it's given a few months to build her up, at least nothing before Survivor Series at the minimum, and it was the next night. And as soon as the next night I went, that's a mistake. And yet, the moment in its isolation is a lovely one for Nikki, fantastic moment for Nikki, but we knew this was going to happen because she was never being booked to compete on the level as Charlotte or even Rhea. So all her wins then became flukes and lucky scraping wins, and she is probably going to pick up another fluke win at SummerSlam, and the commentators are going to go, "How has she managed to pull that off? What a shock upset for your champion retaining," and that's why it makes me sad.
I'm okay with the champion being like somewhat of like a fluky underdog. It's just the writing's so bad.
Oh, her
Like,
promos are
and,
awful.
that's and just like the story writing, and not even just her promos, just in general, it's just all so bad. Like, and that worries me too. Is no matter who's got the belt, the writing is going to be fucking bad. Like that's it too. So I do think that they're going to try. They're going to I have a feeling she's not losing. She's going to get that fluky. I'm almost a superhero. I don't understand it at all at this point. I wanted to give it a chance as well, but then the writing it's just so bad. So I do think she's going to win. I do think that she's going to retain it, but I really don't know. where they go from here in the Raw women's division, unless
Well,
Becky comes back. But I don't even know if Becky wants to come back.
that's what I've been
Apparently,
saying.
she's back in training.
Yeah, apparently she's back in training. But again, like I mean, I said this a few episodes ago. I think I said this while we were doing the tournament, Pete. If she doesn't want to come back, she doesn't want to come back. Like, or was it here, or was it? Did I say it on Ringside Heat? I said it somewhere. I said it on some platform. That if she doesn't want to come back, she doesn't want to come back. If she wants to be with her daughter, let her be with her daughter. Like, not everything needs to be for us, and it's just so frustrating. Like, people, everybody has their own individual lives. Let them do what they want to do. If she's not on your screen, you're not gonna die.
And the other issue on that is, like, when Becky came back, I was hoping it would be I can't wait for Becky to come back to face so-and-so or to face person B and build that feud, because so-and-so has been really well built up now, and then Becky can come back and that'd be an amazing feud. And instead we need Becky back to save the division because it's such a shambles, rather than bringing her in will just add even more to it. And at this point, Raw needs Becky more than Becky needs Raw. Like, it's that and it's not even for us. Like, Raw desperately needs her. Whether she wants it, that's a different question. And if she doesn't want it, fair enough. Go away. Like, do whatever makes you happy. Do look after the kids. That's entirely up to her. But my God, do they desperately need something?
Of course, the irony is, like, does Becky even go to Raw? Or does she focus on what's going on SmackDown, which is what we're going to talk about right now? The SmackDown Women's Championship, a returning Sasha Banks taking on the woman she lost the SmackDown Women's Championship to at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair. Contract's been signed. They've been feuding again. Of course, there was that little, like, tag team moment on SmackDown until Sasha said, "No, I want what's mine." And of course, the fight began from there. I'm gonna say Bianca because I'm still really enjoying Bianca. That is a fun champion compared to the Raw Women's Champion. I really like Bianca. Bianca's been a lot of fun. I don't see her losing this. I'm gonna go with Bianca. Pete.
I enjoy Bianca. I very much enjoy Sasha. But I do think they're starting to get damaged the same way the Raw one is. Not quite to that extent, but I am seeing those signs again, and they're not getting treated that. And there is nobody else in this division now after those two. Like, and that's what kind of worries me. And then I've had people saying to me that, oh, but this has been a really great long build. It's been going since WrestleMania and the build to WrestleMania. And you're like, no, it hasn't. Sasha just disappeared for 4 months and then came back.
It's true.
The entire build to this match happened in one episode of SmackDown, in that she made her return. They formed a tag team. She inevitably turned on her, which was the right decision, maybe a bit rushed, but was entirely the right decision. And then that's the match. That's the entire build. And it kind of makes me a bit sad that, again, this could be a fantastically well-built thing. This could have been getting built on SmackDown for 4 months. Instead, it got 3 weeks-ish, maybe, at a push, and not that exciting of one. Like, the heel turn was the right decision, but you could see it from a mile off, and it wasn't that shocking. So, yeah, I'm going with Bianca as well. I think they want to trust it in her at the moment. So I'm sticking with Bianca, but I'm not as invested in this match as I think I should be, given how great their WrestleMania match was. And that match was fantastic. And this match will probably be fantastic as well. But I want to be more invested than I am.
RJ.
Yeah, for sure. I don't really have a ton of investment in this match because it's hard to get past the fact that, sorry, I'm on my phone here, so this is not as easy as usual. My computer problems are, it's all
it's amazing. It's so
good. The reason I'm not as invested is because it just really feels like Bianca's been built up. She's a superstar. I love Bianca. She's a great champion. She got nobody who can wrestle her. She's got nobody who can fight her. She has no competition. So they have to bring back Sasha. They got to turn her heel, and they got to give Bianca an opponent for SummerSlam. That's kind of just what I feel like this match is. It's like, okay, Bianca's been kind of just running through everybody on SmackDown. Who can wrestle her? It's got to be Sasha. We got to get her heel, and then we got to rush this and build it for SummerSlam. It makes me feel like that maybe this wasn't the entire plan all along. Maybe they wanted to build somebody else up, and then it just never happened. They needed a big rush match for SummerSlam, and then now we're seeing this again. It's going to be a great match, but as Pete said, I'm just not that invested in it as I was at WrestleMania. Bianca's going to retain, though. She has to, I think.
Well, there you go. that's we are all unanimous there to open up. Of course, the one difference so far being Pete, with Charlotte. We focus now to a match that I don't know too much about, to be honest with you. I'm going to be straight up with you. Sheamus and Damian Priest for the United States Championship. This was kind of just put together, I think, in the last few weeks. Sheamus returning, I believe. Sheamus, I believe, was gone for a little bit of time. He came back. Damian Priest emerges as a contender for the United States Championship, and here we are. So I'm just gonna say Damian Priest. Again, I'm not sure what's been going on. Again, as you all know, it's not been easy for me in the last few weeks, so I've kind of been distracted from everything. But I'm gonna say Damian Priest because he's Hispanic and he's big and strong. And I just think he's gonna get a good pop in Vegas. RJ?
Yeah, so I guess the build up to this match was Sheamus came back after he broke his nose. And then they've been doing that, like, if you beat me on Raw, you earn a championship opportunity.
Yes.
So Damian's already whooped him a couple times.
That's fair.
So, like, again, we're just watching this match for probably the fourth time. I think that I'm okay with them putting the belt on Damian Priest. I like Damian Priest. I think I'm impressed with his moveset. He kind of reminds me of Baron Corbin in a way, but like a likable Baron Corbin. Where he's got, like, he moves well for a big man. He's got some cool moves. I really like him. I think that he needs to kind of come out of his shell after the whole Bad Bunny thing. I think that he was obviously an afterthought. We've talked about this before.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that he's somebody they do like, and as much as I like Sheamus, it's just kind of been a whatever run. So they did it with the Intercontinental title on SmackDown with Nakamura. They gave him the belt. So I think they're going to swap the belts with the U.S. title as well, and they're going to go to Damian Priest.
That caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, we're really doing this on SmackDown with SummerSlam just around the corner? Like, okay.
They've been doing that with the Intercontinental title a lot, though. They did that back when
they did.
Like Daniel Bryan had the title. They had that really good match on SmackDown. Like, it's like Fox wants that almost, which is possible.
Which is fine. I mean, I
they
don't
want
mind.
that Intercontinental title to be wrestled for on their show, which I'm okay with. But it's weird that we never see that belt on pay-per-view anymore.
Let's go over to Pete.
You don't see that belt anywhere. That belt has been defended once since WrestleMania. This is the second time it's been defended since WrestleMania. So it's not that you don't see it on pay-per-view, you just don't see it. So this match summarizes everything I've hated about Raw in about the last 4 months. The Contenders match, as you've already mentioned, I hate it. I hate when anyone does it. Just do a proper number one Contenders match, have them beat somebody else, keep your champion strong, so then the champion is winning. You've had two contenders who build up to it winning to get to that match. Then one of them wins again. So you have the winner of the winning people fight the winning champion to see who is the best winner rather than the least bad loser, which is what it feels like at the moment, because Priest has spent the last 4 months wrestling John Morrison. That's what he's done. And occasionally The Miz when he was healthy, including in a zombie match. That's what Priest has done. Sheamus has spent the last 4 months fighting Humberto Carrillo in rematch. They then had this match, I think it was 3 weeks ago now. They had him versus Sheamus in this Contenders match. Stupid concept. Priest wins that, so we can have a rematch 3 weeks later in the rematch of the rematches to see who is the best at rematching, I think. That's how this works, and just stop giving me rematches. I don't build me a proper feud so that when it gets to the big pay-per-view, I'm excited to see it. Or if it is a rematch, make it so the story makes it worthwhile rather than, let's just do it again. Well, let's have this Contenders match. It's crap booking. I love Damian Priest. I love Sheamus. It's terrible, lazy writing. It's garbage. You've got a roster of 4,000 people back there. Let them beat somebody else to get the match.
Were we kidding? From 4,000?
Okay, sorry, they've got 3,800 now. They've lost 200 of them.
Yeah, there we go.
Fine, but let them fight someone else first. Give me something to be excited for. Don't do this, because it just makes Sheamus look shit. And I love Sheamus. I love Damian Priest, and they're both fantastic wrestlers. I'm going with Damian Priest because why not? See if you can inject some new life into the belt, because God knows they're not trying at the moment. So yeah, Damian Priest. Do something better with them.
All right. Well, we are unanimous again so far. If Charlotte wins, Pete steals it. and that's going to be frustrating. But let's see if we let's see if we are different here. We're going to go back to SmackDown. To the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the champions, the Uso, Jimmy and Jey Uso, taking on the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey. Pete and I said this in the last episode, which was out last week. Obviously, still seeing Jimmy with a title is extremely infuriating. I don't want to get into that again. We said what we need to say last week on episode 59 about the situation with Jimmy, but the Mysterios getting another opportunity. Dominic really going to feel like getting his first big crowd experience. That's going to be huge for him. I mean, he thought that like a live crowd experience on SmackDown was one thing. Wait until you get into a WrestleMania size stadium for SummerSlam. So that's going to be big. I'm going to stick with the Mysterios because I'm just so bitter at Jimmy winning that title. I hope WWE sees their mistake and they get it off them. But then again, with the whole situation of the head of the table and whatnot, I understand it's really crucial for that storyline and it works, but I'm going to stick with the Mysterios on this. RJ?
Without getting into it too much, the Usos aren't losing this match, so I'm going to take the Usos.
You're taking the Usos. All right.
Yeah, it's just not happening.
That's all you got.
It's
okay.
It's just not happening. I as much as you probably shouldn't have a belt, they're going to have a belt for a little bit longer.
Fair point.
And at the same time, I know you guys have your thing. You can't punish Jey at the same time.
No.
Which is too much to get into, obviously, because
it's a lot to get into. But like I said, and I emphasize this again, if you want to hear Pete and my thoughts, because Pete and I were together for episode 59, top right, above Pete, you will get the link to that, and you can get our further details on what we thought of it. But yes, I that is a very fair point. I think that's one side I think I may be overlooking is, yes, Jey has done is perfectly normal. I shouldn't like that.
He's been one of the MVPs of SmackDown over the last
Jey
year.
Jey has been incredible. Jey has been putting in the work. Yes, it sucks that he is right now associated with that, but I think that's a very fair and respectable point. Hey, Jey is still kicking. Jey deserves it. Absolutely. Let's get a different partner. Pete.
Well, in this fantastic rematch, that has been the rematch of rematches that has been kept going on because these four can't get out of the ring and fight other people. Actually, they did on SmackDown. They actually fight someone else. But in general, they've been doing combinations of singles matches out there, 6-man tags if you throw in Roman and Edge, or tags just with each other. And I'm really bored of these four going at it, but again, I don't think any other tag contenders have really been built up to challenge. The Usos aren't dropping those belts. There's no chance in hell. Whether it's the right or wrong decision is obviously different matter, but storyline wise, they're even on about the Usos potentially being in a tag match with The Rock at Mania and that, then they're not dropping those titles until the storyline tells them to. And it is one of the few where there is actually somewhat of a storyline when it's outside of doing all the rematches and they're involved in the Roman storyline and not their own. So, yeah, we'll see.
And I don't think dropping it right back to Mysterios is the way that this is going to happen either.
It's probably dropping the Rock and Roman, who knows?
Yeah, the Rock and Roman. Or they're building up the Alpha Academy or something like that. I don't know.
I am getting worried about my championship reign. Let's go to the first of two non-title matches. And I somehow, weirdly enough, this is the match that RJ was pushing for during the pandemic last year, and now it's I think it was RJ, and now it's finally here. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal.
Oh yeah, let's go, let's go, boys.
There you go.
If Jinder didn't get hurt, this would have been for the title like last year at some point in time.
I know it would have been for the title. That's the funny thing. But here we are now. RJ's fantasy booking has arrived a year too late, maybe in RJ's eyes. I don't know. This all started after Jinder, for some odd reason, cost Drew the Money in the Bank ladder match, distracting him and make sure he doesn't get to the briefcase. Okay, and then cool. And then again, the feud started from there. Now that Jinder has his two new lackeys, Shanky and Veer. What names? Shanky and Veer. Those
big dudes.
Those are they're huge. They're massive. They're not as big as Pete, but they're big. They're big. And so that feud started. There's like Drew with some vicious chairs. They're stealing swords. They're going all around here. They're going all out here for a non-title match. I'm going to say Drew because you want to see that good old face win, and it always feels like there's a narrative of giving Drew such a big pop in front of a big crowd. But I will say, like, this is refreshing. This is what I wanted from Drew, in the sense of I needed him out of the title picture just to get some new content, because it was getting extremely stale with Bobby Lashley, and I think even some fans on social media were starting to turn on Drew, saying this is the next Roman Reigns, the next Cena. Don't do it. I'm happy that Drew's in a spot. I'm gonna say Drew, and this is actually something I'm looking forward to, because the title is not on the line. If this was last year in the middle of Drew's big run, okay, yes, but not in the trailing ends of the run. But with this, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, let's have a good watch. Let's see what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna say Drew. Pete.
I'm going to disagree with everything Jose just said.
Okay.
So, actually, in fairness, if you said post-Mania, Drew's going to drop out the title scene for a bit. He's going to have a nice little mid-card feud with Jinder, build himself back up, and maybe go and feud with someone else, then build himself up the title, I don't know, by Rumble again. Something like that. I'd have gone, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Jinder, they've got so much history together. Let's do a little feud around that. Let's have Jinder jealous that Drew's got all the spotlight. They've appreciated Drew as a champion, never appreciated Jinder as a champion, despite them being from the same background. They were both in 3MB. They both had that history together. Why is Drew different? You've got a really compelling story you can tell. And they made the thing about a motorcycle and a sword. Nothing on the history. Not a spot of any mention of 3MB. No mention of we used to road together, we used to travel together. I know you better than anybody else. All of this stuff you can build on and play on their history together. Nothing. I've stolen your sword. Haha, that's a replica. I've stolen your motorcycle. What the hell? How is this the most garbage thing on Monday Night Raw when you've got that women's division? Week in, week out, these segments have been trash. Is it Sheer and Vanky? I can't remember even. Veer and Shanky.
Other way around.
Sheer and Vanky. Why not?
Shanky and Veer.
Sheer is a solid name. I mean, he should be Sheer. Sorry.
I don't care about him. It doesn't add anything. It's not doing anything. It's pretty much only there to give Jinder any chance of doing this. Whereas your chance of Jinder beating him, it should be, I've got your number from all our history together. I was the one who got back to WWE first when you couldn't. All of these things. You could have built a storyline that I was thoroughly invested in. And if you told me it wasn't for the title, I was like, yes, give me that. And that was my only criticism when RJ and Wolf on that pitch last year. I said, I don't want to see it for the title. I don't want to see Jinder back in that title picture, but I want to see the feud. But this feud is the epitome of lazy writing, no thought going into it, no play on the history, to the point where I don't give a crap about Drew McIntyre in a wrestling match. And wow. I don't even, I can't believe I'm saying that, because I love Drew McIntyre. I love everything he's done. He is my daddy Drew. He still is. But I do not give a shit about this match. It is utterly garbage build that I do not care about.
So who's your pick?
Drew. Okay. Obviously. I'm never going to bet against him, am I?
RJ?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle here, because I do agree with pretty much. Well, I'm not really in the middle. Because Drew's going to win. But I completely agree with everything Pete just said. But I also agree with what Jose said. Whereas I was kind of pushing for this match to happen. I really wanted to see this match happen last year. I was like, all right, I actually kind of like Jinder. I am a certified Jinder mark over here. So I mean, I'm always hyped to see Jinder, and I don't know if that's just because I think it's funny or not, but I love Jinder. So I really wanted to see this match, but as Pete said, they didn't play off any of their history. These guys are good friends. They used to road together. They were in 3MB. They don't give a crap about any of that. They stole a sword. And you could even do that if they even just played off this history whatsoever. I thought that they had a really good feud to be potentially built here. And maybe if they did it last year over the WWE Championship, then maybe we'd actually get more of a personal feud, because then they could both go over, Jinder was a former champion, and maybe you could get more into that. And now that the title's out of the way, they kind of want to maybe just avoid all mention of it. I'm not sure. But they didn't go into the background like I wanted them to. I think Drew's going to win this match. I'm still excited to see it, because I do think that this is a match that I did want to see before. And I do like when, two bulkier dudes go at it every now and then. So I think that there's some chance there. But they could have made us care a lot more about this by kind of going into their history a little more. But Pete's already nailed the head on pretty much all of that.
Also, just to clarify, I've got nothing against Jinder Mahal. I don't think he's as bad as people make out or any of that. I've got nothing. And all the matches that I will criticize here, it's nothing against the actual rest of the stars. I think they're all like
sure.
great at what they do and stuff. It's purely the booking and the writing and that side of it that I'm criticizing. Nothing on Jinder or nothing on that. I would have been happy to see this match if it had been built well.
It amazes me how much. It amazes me that like I forget how to phrase this, and I suck at phrasing stuff on this podcast because even like some of my older comments are come back to haunt me in group chats. But what's the expression, like, you know, they didn't like juice or milk the sponge or whatever. I don't know. Oh god, see this. They're not like they're not taking advantage of like people's full opportunities. You know what I mean? Like and like it feels like worth. Sorry.
Milk it for what it's worth.
I guess that's.
I don't know what you're after.
There's a phrase like, you know, you want to take the water, take all the water out of the sponge or the towel, something like that. I don't know. Shut up. I don't want anybody quoting me on that. What I'm trying to say is that, like, if there was better booking, if there was better writing, you could really see the potential, and you really can see like how great most of these individuals are with talent in ring, with promo work. And again, I see Money in the Bank as like that could have been. There's a lot of hope here because you really put on a show that can get people going, and yet you don't reflect it in the weekly shows. I don't get it. I just do not get it.
This is a common theme too, which is kind of the unfortunate
such a common theme, and it's so sad. And then of course you have all your WWE haters. Oh, they suck. You know, go to AEW. I'm like, all right, calm down. We're not like, we know, like, relax. In saying that, we're gonna go on to the other non-title match that has been labeled, or by most people, as the better booked match. The one actually has some good investment and some decent story to it. Edge, Seth Rollins, one-on-one. This all started again at Money in the Bank when Seth Rollins cost Edge the Universal Championship in the main event, which of course, you know, I had a little bit of hope that Edge would have won that. Of course, that hope quickly died. I don't even know why I had hope to begin with, but it happened. The Edge bringing this back to 2014 after the little confrontation that saying that Seth Rollins almost re-injured him. Seth saying that people like Edge shouldn't be getting opportunities, like John Cena as well, who we'll talk about later. And so he said, you know what, I'm done with this. Let's have a match. And now that's been official. Kind of like what Pete says about Drew. I am never betting against Edge. And he's probably going to lose again. Because I feel like Edge is that person that wants to see like the quote unquote younger talent go over, although Seth isn't really young anymore. Young in a sense of like he's already so better. He's such a veteran. He's so experienced. I don't see it, but it's Edge. Just give me the win, please. And week after week after week, Rollins continues to look ugly with his suits and that drip. Oh my god!
Whoa,
I'm gonna say it, RJ.
If by ugly you mean just absolutely dripping in swagger,
no,
then yes, he is ugly.
No,
easily like top 3 best.
I look better in a SummerSlam jersey.
It's like him and John Morrison, and then there's like that's it. They're the contenders.
Look, I look better in a SummerSlam jersey. RJ looks better in that New Balance hoodie. Pete looks better in whatever the hell he's wearing. No, Rollins is
rude.
So
just a t-shirt, man.
T-shirt.
He doesn't know what a t-shirt is at this point.
It's I meant the design of your shirt. I know it's a t-shirt. RJ, let's go to you.
Yeah. So as much as so this one I'm wrestling with a little bit, because both of these guys haven't really had a huge win in a while, with Edge coming off a couple losses. However, I think that Seth actually really needs this win. Edge is kind of at that spot where if he loses, I don't really care, unfortunately. He's always going to be Edge. He's always going to be... I mean, it's always going to be Seth too, but Seth's got to win at some point. And I think Seth really needs this win if he's going to be continued to be a big deal as he is. I know it's his heel character, and he can kind of... It seems like he can afford some losses, but I think Seth really needs to beat somebody. I know he beat Cesaro, but he also lost to Cesaro, and he just kind of hasn't really won on a big pay-per-view in a long time. So I actually think Seth is going to win this match because I think Edge can handle the loss a little bit more. I just don't think Seth's going to lose. As much as you said it, too. You said you're not going to bet against Edge as much as...
Yeah, no, and I don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm not going to bet against Edge, but that's also my mindset. I'm just picking Edge because I love Edge, right? Edge is like my go-to guy. Like I love seeing Edge's entrance. I love seeing Edge. It's just, there's always such a big smile on my face when I see Edge. But as soon as I put away the fandom, like, yeah, I think what RJ just said is extremely valid. Seth Rollins has not had that big win, which he said he had that big win in 2021. I don't think so, and I think this is the time to give him that big win in 2021. I don't know, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still bitter that Edge lost at WrestleMania. I'm not happy that Edge didn't win at WrestleMania. Of course, we wouldn't get the classic that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it's just I don't know for some odd reason with the Rumble win back in January for Edge, to me it's like I need Edge. I want Edge to have like a really 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 big moment, and it sucks that we didn't get it at WrestleMania, and so of course my mind's also going to like it'd be cool to see it at SummerSlam, but I do think Rollins most likely will get, I guess, quote unquote, needs it more. But it's fucking Edge, baby. Pete.
Yeah, well, I've got good news for you, Jose, because although I agree with everything RJ said, I'm convinced Edge is winning this match.
Hooray!
Like, I'm picking Edge. I'm convinced he's winning it because I'm fairly sure, in Vince McMahon's mind, one of the legends has to win on this show.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
and I think it's going to be Edge out of those legends. I don't. I think they should all lose. In my head, I think they should. I think Seth Rollins needs that rub. I think you need to start pushing your current stars back into contendership and back as realistic challengers. And this is what you could do with Rollins right now, because otherwise you're going to have to keep relying on Goldberg, Cena, Edge in your title picture, and I think that's a bad idea. But yeah, this is why I still watch WWE right now, because when they try, they can build a compelling storyline.
Like
It's possible. You can play off the history there in 2014. You can come back. You can have Rollins come in and say, I don't want you getting that title shot. You don't deserve that title shot. I'm fed up of it. I'm fed up with like gatekeeping a title scene against part-timers, which he's done a terrible job of considering the two matches that follow this. But in the general principle, gatekeeping it against part-timers, I love that idea. I actually really relate to him on this. Gatekeep that scene, Seth. Please, keep them out of it. But yeah, I think the story's great. I think the feud's been great. They haven't had a match together, which again makes me anticipating when they do get in the ring together and finally properly go at it when the bell's rung. Yeah, they've had a few brawls, but no, as far as I'm aware, not a single match, not even like a tag team match where they're on opposite sides. That's what I want to see from your SummerSlam builds. This is an excellent build to a SummerSlam match, and it is the one match on this show that I'm really excited to watch and really excited to see. Even though I think it's going to go the way that I don't want it to, even if that happens, I'll at least think, well, it was a great build, probably a great match, considering the history of Edge and how great Rollins is. Probably going to be a great match. But so going to a great build, great match. Edge goes over, sure. Like, not what I want, but at least I'll come out of having enjoyed something in the SummerSlam build and the SummerSlam card. So thank God for this match, because this is the kind of thing that's keeping me just about hanging on to watching WWE, because it's becoming more and more of an effort for me.
Honestly, I'm just really looking forward to Edge's entrance in Allegiant Stadium. Oh, that's gonna be that's gonna be so much fun. Oh my lord, I can't wait for that. Let's go on to the first of two World Championship matches, and of course, it's everybody's favorite for the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley taking on Goldberg, who returned. I think it was the night after Money in the Bank. Bobby Lashley saying, "Well, who's next?" Pun intended, because out comes Goldberg.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, he's back. Bobby, Pete, let's go to you. I have nothing else to say.
This match doesn't really deserve any analysis. It doesn't really deserve anything going into it. It's the epitome of lazy booking once again.
Yep.
And you pretty much buried a potential future challenger in order to set up this match. You could have had Keith Lee coming into this, and you pretty much decided in the build-up to this match to push Keith Lee as far away from the title scene as you could by just having him lose to Lashley in his return match. And that made me sad. And all the people saying, oh, what did you want? Keith Lee to beat Lashley? No, I just didn't want them to have that match. That's as simple as it is. They're writing a storyline. You don't need to book that match in the first place. Have him beat, let's flick through, Humberto Carrillo. Why not? Have him beat anybody backstage. Anybody who's sat in catering. Just don't have him lose to Bobby Lashley, and that made me sad. I don't care. It was purely to set up Goldberg coming back. Goldberg's going to lose. Lashley's going to win. I don't care. Go away, Goldberg. And I'm not against Goldberg being here. I'm happy to see Goldberg outside the title picture. Let him put over a young talent coming through in the mid card to elevate them to a title scene. Maybe like a Keith Lee. That would have been a nice little win for a Keith Lee to build him up to a title picture. Sure, down for stuff like that. Get him out of that title scene. There's no reason for him to be there. It's not like he's winning matches. His last win was against The Fiend 2.5 years ago.
Oh, good times.
So, no, I just don't understand what the hell you're doing, bringing over back for title picture again and again and again when nobody wants to see it. But yeah, I want to see Goldberg. I pop when I hear his music. Get him out of those title pictures now.
So you're sticking with Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you think about it. And I mean, I love to say this every time I bring up Goldberg, and I know, and RJ 100% can attest to it. When you hear that theme in person, it is a fun experience because you're like, holy shit, here
For
he
sure.
comes. It's a lot of fun. And again, like, you know, the time that RJ and I saw him at the same time, because I saw him a second time after that. It was hype, non-title hype. Actually, I also saw him in another non-title situation as well. Hype. It's a lot of fun, but when the title's involved, you're like, oh god. RJ.
And they did it properly that time with
they
Brock,
did.
and
They
he
very
squashed
did.
him. They set it up. Goldberg got his shit, and he did what he wanted. People wanted to see that he got spear, jackhammer, squash Brock. Crowd popped. They set up another match that lasted 2 to 3 minutes. That one was for the title. Whatever, it happens. But I don't want to see Goldberg come back and wrestle in a title match. If you might get more value to Goldberg having him squash a low carder and having him completely away.
Like
Like
Dolph
he did with
Ziggler
Dolph.
at SummerSlam 2 years ago. It worked.
Because what do people want to see? They want to see Goldberg come out like a superhero, spear, jackhammer, see ya. That's all you need to see from Goldberg. You need to see his entrance. You get to see him. You get to shit in. It's like Hogan. But you just do it to somebody who it's not going to affect. And you
Sorry, like I'm saying, like to RJ's point, I mean, again, like when Goldberg faced off Ziggler at SummerSlam in Toronto a few years ago, that was a lot of fun. I mean, mind you, with Ziggler opening up with that super kick, we're all freaking out, like, holy crap, is he's gonna do it? And it just hooked us right away. Like, it works. It absolutely works. RJ, continue.
He does not need to be in these matches because, first of all, like, it's not going to be an entertaining match because Goldberg isn't that guy anymore. But you might get some entertainment out of Goldberg going to squash somebody else. I hope Lashley wins in 35 seconds. That is the most entertainment you can get out of this match, is Goldberg getting absolutely no offense in and having Lashley beat him within a minute. That's the most excitement you can get out of me at this match. So I hope that's what happens. Bobby, easy. Hopefully
that's not going to happen though. Like,
no,
we all know that he's going to get in his offense. He's He's going to hit at least 2 spears. I hope he doesn't even go for a jackhammer, to be honest. But he's going to get in more offense than Kofi did. I'll put it that way.
The one scenario, I mean, how this should go is how Drew faced Goldberg at the Rumble in January. That should be similar, I think. I don't know if it will. None of us see Goldberg winning. I would be
the best
shocked.
of a bad situation.
Shocked if Goldberg wins this.
Where do you even go from there if that happens?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I do not know. What's the next?
Drew and Bobby, who's been the best thing on Raw, like the only thing on Raw for like the longest time. And then
and Extreme Rules is next. Extreme Rules is the next pay-per-view, September 26th, from Columbus.
Goldberg's Extreme Rules.
Yeah, he's not gonna do Extreme Rules. So it's like, what are you doing?
He's wait till he faces Roman in Survivor Series. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could try and set that up, but that's just.
Oh God.
Now that I'm talking that into my head.
Oh, shut your mouth.
They could absolutely try and set up.
Shut it. Shut up.
Good, stop. Just
shut up.
Shut up. And there are good ways to use Goldberg. Title scene is not one of them.
Oh my God Almighty!
That's all we need to know. There is a way to use legends in a way that benefits everybody.
The 0% chance of Goldberg winning just kind of moved to like 5 to 10%.
If Survivor Series can stop using the whole title for title brand supremacy crap, then we'd be a lot easier with this. But that makes a lot of sense, RJ.
But that's easy booking, Jose.
We know it's easy. But fuck you anyways, RJ.
It's cheap, easy, and lazy. It's everything.
Fuck.
WWE's ally.
Exactly.
Well, let's go on to our main event. The Universal Championship. This is one that a lot of people are talking about, and rightfully so. The challenger, John Cena, the 16-time world champion, hoping to break Ric Flair's record of 17. In kayfabe WWE terms, that is, because I know there are people out there that say that Ric Flair has had more championships. No, we're going to go by the WWE rules. John Cena is going for a record-breaking reign, taking on, no pun intended when I say reign, taking on the current dominant and amazing, handsome, beautiful head of the table, Roman Reigns, who again has been one of the best things happening in wrestling. Amazing. I'm still amazed that I'm saying that when 2 years ago I was saying please no, or 2 or 3 years ago saying God no. But Roman has been so great. This storyline, at least to me, has been absolutely hilarious. From the missionary line that Roman used a couple weeks ago to the CM Punk tease that Cena did last week on SmackDown, saying he'll run out of Allegiant Stadium with the title and blow him a kiss, which I thought was so good. Here we are now, and I have to say that I'm torn. I feel like there's an obvious winner, but I'm also torn. I'm also asking Hollywood to release Cena and bring him back to us on a permanent basis. It sucks that he's going to go after this. Most likely he's going to go after this. He hasn't confirmed it. That's what I liked about Cena, that in his interviews, he's been asked, so are you going to stay past SummerSlam? Are you going to win? Are you going to be Universal Champion? He said, well, I don't know. I got to see what happens at SummerSlam. I got to win first. He's been teasing it really, really well. He hasn't confirmed that he's going back to Hollywood after SummerSlam, which I like because he's respecting the storyline. He's respecting the business there. Got to give a lot of props to that, at least in my opinion. I have to go Roman. I know it's going to be Roman, but I know it's going to be Roman, but I will say I am going to be happy as hell if it's Cena, because I selfishly want Cena back. I did not realize how much I appreciated and how much I valued Cena as soon as he left. And I'm like, wow, for all the years that I was booing him, damn, I missed the guy. He's so much fun. I'm going to go with Roman. RJ.
That's the thing, though. You don't want Cena back. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Is that the phrase?
See, well, RJ can pull off great phrases, and I can't.
You bring Cena back for 9 months, he'll be losing to Jeff Hardy on main event. So it's fine.
Like, I don't know. I love Cena. I wouldn't have said that 5 years ago, and I think that's part of it, is that Cena hasn't been around, and it's kind of like you start to miss him, and then he comes back and he gives you a taste, and he's not PG Cena anymore. He's funny Hollywood man Cena with sex.
I want to say, I don't want to say Doctor of Thugonomics, but he's on borderline the Doctor again.
He doesn't give a shit, and he knows that he is untouchable, like his raps say. So he can come in and do whatever he wants. And he's very entertaining. However, if Super Cena came back 365 days a year, we would hate him.
We would be pissed off. Yeah, we'd hate him.
We would hate him.
Yeah.
We would be sick of him again. So I think that the way that Cena is being used currently with this little Summer of Cena tour is nice. It's a little annoying they don't get to see him wrestle on TV, but it's also smart to make the paying fans see Cena as opposed to seeing him on TV. But yeah, I'm excited to see Cena. I still think he's on another level than Roman in the promo game. As much as Roman's definitely holding his own more than he did. What was it? 3 years ago they had their last feud. 4 years ago they had their last feud.
Something like that. 2017, was it not, that No Mercy match?
Where Cena completely ripped him to shreds. He's definitely holding his own here. But Cena's still the man on the mic. But as much as Cena will win 17 one day, it is not going to be that day on Saturday. And the head of the table retains. For sure.
Pete.
So I'm going to say that I think the build here has been a steaming pile of turds with some glitter sprinkled on top.
I did want to mention that too, but you can go ahead and get to
with some glitter sprinkled on top of it.
Yeah.
Cena is obviously undoubtedly a god on the mic. Roman has been fantastic on the mic. The general content of everything they've done has been abysmal. There's been some cheap pops, which popped me as well. Yeah, sure, the missionary line popped me. The Punk references, of course they pop you, but they're cheap little pops with no substance, no build, no reason for this match happening in the first place. I still don't know why this match is happening. Like, Cena's reason for challenging Reigns makes zero sense whatsoever. He's like, oh, Reigns is a bit of an asshole. So there's been 100 of them in the time you've been gone. Like, that's not a reason that you. Why do you deserve the match? Because I wrote my name on the paper ahead of Finn's. Hang on. That's garbage. Why is like honestly, the build to Roman versus Finn has been better than the build to Roman versus Cena in this build for me. And then not even mention, you've got John Cena on your shows, you've got John Cena at these events, and he's wrestling dark matches. Get him on your bloody TV. Give us a reason that he's having these matches. Have him cut some actual meaningful promos rather than, haha, missionary's great if it's done. Like, I've done it for 20 years and the fans still love it. Like, that's fine. That's whatever. But what is going on in this match? What is the actual purpose for it? I don't know. I don't understand it. And John Cena doesn't watch the product because he's going, Reigns, you're not as popular as you think you are. He's the genuine only good thing the fans are on board with in WWE right now. Like, he has the right to say he's better than everyone because at this point, he is. And that's by the booking as well, because it's the only thing that seems to be booked even relatively competently at the moment. But, like, you're using the same lines from 3 years ago about Cena not being able to cut it on the mic. About Reigns not being able to cut it on the mic. Reigns not being able to, like, live up to his reputation. Cena still having to do his job because Reigns can't. When Reigns is the only thing holding this brand together from being Raw and being as bad as Raw, it's basically the difference is Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Why is Cena not coming back going, now I have something to look at. You've given me this kind of, you've shown me you can do it.
Go back to
that.
that.
Prove that you're better than me. Prove that you've now got at that level. Because I'm fed up with this. Put your opponent down. No, build your opponent up and then say, but I'm better. And try and build it that way because it makes it look like, oh, which one of these actually is better on the mic? Oh, which one of these is going to be able to go in the ring? Who is the poster boy of WWE now? Build it properly that way, not, haha, your wife doesn't love you. Like, which is pretty much might as well be what this is at this point. It's cheap schoolyard humor, and for Cena, it's how many behind the scenes, like in references, can I get into my promo before I get called out for it being too much? And it's pretty much like, it's almost like, CM Punk used to love doing that 10 years ago, and the fans love that. I'll mention the fourth wall. I'll mention promos. I'll mention booking.
Well, I mean,
and you've got all the corporate help to get you where you are. Put Reigns over. Say, you have carried this brand for 2 years. Say that in your promos. Because that's what he's done. He carried this brand through the later half of the pandemic. He carried WWE through that period. Don't start putting down the one good thing that you have done in this time. Like, and that is what Cena is doing. Cena's then going to do the job. He's going to lose to Roman because Roman's going to win. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, he put Roman over. But no, he hasn't. Because we all knew Roman was going to beat Cena. Well, instead, he's just half buried him on the mic, saying that instead of Roman earning this position, it's still the corporate push. And he's just re-jogging our memory of what happened 3 years ago, of Roman getting pushed to the moon, getting all the corporate help. And his fans are going, ooh, is he still right? Is that still what's going on? Do I not like this Roman? Is it being forced down my throat? And it's just recalling all those thoughts back to the front of everyone's memory. And it might get the fans to even potentially, they shouldn't, turn on the one good thing you've got going right now. And yeah, I think this has been an abysmal use of Cena. You've not put him on your shows. You've weirdly put him over Finn in the weirdest way possible to make that build happen. And then the promos, yeah, cheap pops, great laugh, really funny. Turns of story, long-term future, building Roman, making me invested in this match. Done everything they can to pretty much make me less invested. So yeah, I honestly think this has been an appalling build that's been disguised by like these glittery like in references, jokes, and humor on top of it. So yeah, there's my rant. I think it's shit.
And also, the casualty of it is Finn Balor, who all of a sudden was he supposed to just not care that he doesn't get his title match? And he's
actually,
just
to
like,
be fair to him,
I'll face Baron Corbin on SmackDown.
To be fair to him, he did beat Baron Corbin and then say, I am still coming for Cena or Reigns afterwards. So to be fair, they did at least, that was my redeeming light in there, that they did at least make him say, no, I am a bit pissed off about it, rather than happy smiley Balor. Oh, well, I lost it out because somebody forged a signature. So it's, which is pretty much what happened.
So
I can't wait to find Tom Brady's new contract and go and write my name over the top of it and just sign it. It's going to be great.
So just to confirm, you are going with Roman.
Of course, Roman's winning.
Of course, all right. Well, I think those are all very, very valid points, and I forgot about Finn Balor. I forgot about Finn Balor. Like, it just
And
kind of
there's the issue.
yeah, that's not good. I mean,
And
again,
he's not even on the card.
Exactly.
mind you, with two juggernauts like Cena and Reigns, I get it. You'll forget about everybody. I just forgot that was a part of the storyline itself.
Like, we knew they were doing Cena and Roman. What was the point of throwing Finn in there in the first place?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Well,
Like, it's like
point.
They kind of like try and swerve us off to swerve us back on, which
Like, it just makes
is
Finn,
swerving it for the sake of swerving it, and yeah, I just don't get it.
it doesn't make sense. But I'm fine.
At least give Finn a win on the pay per view and make up for it. Like, at least
do Finn and Baron on the pay per view. Simple.
yeah, and poor
I
Baron
think
has been
Finn squashing Baron
Actually,
as this Baron character. Baron Corbin's been the best thing on SmackDown.
Exactly.
Like,
I've been saying that to Jose.
I mean, I have been entertained, to say the least. The Instagram post with Baron Corbin, there was like a minute and a half video from WWE on Baron Corbin, him entering the arena. I was laughing. I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
In saying that,
I
gentlemen,
just need some money to get me through the weekend. Oh yeah, sure, I'll help you. How much do you need? About 100 grand. It's just great.
In saying that, gentlemen, of course, as always, we do need to cover our tracks just in case. And for a potential tiebreaker situation, we're going with the length of the Universal Championship match. I'm going to start with I'm actually gonna go with 17 16. And I'm gonna say this. And I'm gonna be fair to you guys, but I am reading here that apparently SummerSlam wants to end a little bit earlier because you have the Pacquiao Ugas boxing fight at T-Mobile Arena next door. And they want they want fans who have tickets to both, want them to make it there in time, one, and two, for those that ordered on pay-per-view, just so they can go from that pay-per-view to the next. I'm going to be fair and say that is apparently a thing, given that Pacquiao's fighting that night. Go Pacquiao, go. Pete, your time.
Yeah, well, all that being said, that means they're just going to cut all the other matches short, and they're never going to take any time away from Cena and Reigns. So I'm going to go with 28-30. I'm just going to get touching that half-hour mark.
This might be really long.
Oh, I think you're right. I'm going to stick with mine.
They're going to spend 4 minutes just doing pauses and, like, taunts.
It might be 2 minutes before they even, like, lock arms. Like, they might just be staring at the crowd for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Cena.
We got 8. Yeah. We got 8 matches, right?
Yeah, 8 matches. I got 7. Again, at the time of this recording,
one's
as
a Goldberg
always,
match.
As always, I do need to say, if any matches are added on between the time of recording and the release of the pay-per-view, of course, we will be predicting those as well and updating our graphic and then presenting it next week on the show. I have 17-16.
Okay.
Pete has 28-30. RJ.
And by ending early, is it like ending 3 hours or just not going 4.5 hours? So, I mean, who really? I'm going to go in between you guys with 24 minutes on the dot. I do think it's going to be kind of long, but I have to be smart and go in between you two.
Yeah, you're not normally the keenest on tiebreakers on the history of the show.
Yeah, I usually try to go right at it, but I'm going with more of a.
No, this may be your smartest approach since we've been doing predictions since we started.
Well, it's just a tiebreaker, right? So I usually think, well, I got to do well to get to this point anyway, so I may as well just try and nail it. But then the 2 or 3 times I've actually tied, I've always lost. So I mean.
Well, in saying that, before I say goodbye to you guys, before we wrap this up, I'm going to put up the predictions table one more time, and this is what we got. Pete went with Charlotte. I went with RJ, and myself went with Nikki. We all went with Bianca for the SmackDown Women's. We all went with Damian Priest there for the United States. I'm the only one that went with the Mysterios for the SmackDown Tag. We all went with Drew. RJ, the only one going with Seth. We all went with Bobby. We all went with Roman. And then for the tiebreaker, I got 17 minutes and 16 seconds. Pete, 28-30. And RJ, 24 on the dot. That should be a lot of fun. SummerSlam should be a very, very fun pay-per-view. I hope. Right, guys?
I mean, the build's not there, but we say that a lot.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I said that about Money in the Bank. And the next thing you know, Money in the Bank was actually pretty damn good in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm going that is how I'm going to take it. So for now,
I think that comes down to the wrestlers are still fantastic wrestlers. At the end of the day, they're going to put on great matches. They're going to put on great stories in the ring,
yes,
regardless of how good the build is.
And it's funny because I still see I know people that still say WWE just sucks in general. And I'm like, okay, but you keep talking about the booking aspect. You talk about the talent in the ring themselves. No, it's just not good. It's just not good style. I'm like, okay, shut up. On that note, gentlemen, Pete, thank you as always for hopping on. RJ, thank you for coming back.
Yes,
and
sir.
of course, this is where we come back to me. Like I said, the predictions are happening next week. And as always, if any matches that are added on will be added onto this table of ours, and then we will provide you with the update next week. But for now, all I can say is just that. Thank you so much for watching. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, available wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe, please. I'm Jose Taboada, and we will see you guys for the follow-up. Have a good one. Bye.